All right, today in this video, we're going to be putting together a custom-built set of Srixon ZX7 and ZX5 blended irons. I'm going to show you the whole process close up so you get all the details. Let's go. All right, hi everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day. We are going to get right into this build. We are not messing around with this. So I've got a set, or a blended set, of the new Mark II ZX7 and ZX5 irons from Srixon. We've got a 4 and a 5 iron in the ZX5, and we've got 7 all the way down to gap wedge in the ZX7. That thing's beautiful. Look at that. That is pretty. So what we're going to be doing today is putting these together with some tour issue Dynamic Gold X100 shafts. We've also got some BB&F blue striped ferrules and some Golf Pride multi-compound blue and black and white grips. Okay, next up we have to figure out how far we want to prep these shafts, so we're just going to slide one of the heads on, goes all the way down, and then just mark it 1/4 of an inch below where the end of the hosel is right there, and that's how much we are going to prep. All right, next up, we're going to measure these out for length and cut these shafts. So we're just going to go right down the line. I've got my list of lengths right here. 4 iron. All right, 4 iron, 39.5 final length. 5 iron. 39, and yes, in case you're wondering, these are all 1 inch over standard. Okay, next thing to do is get a swing weight. So we are just going to attach the grip onto the back end of the shaft here with just a little bit hanging over the end. I've done this before, I've showed it to you. And I know some people are going to say that this doesn't give you as accurate a swing weight measurement. But again, remember, swing weight is not about trying to hit a precise number. It is about making sure all the clubs in your set have a similar feel. So if we do this the same way for everything, that gives us the results we want. And so this club, with this amount of weight on it, at this length, comes out about D5. Now again, this doesn't have the ferrule on this end, nor does it have epoxy, and it doesn't have the extra layers of tape on this end, which is going to make it a little bit lighter. But D5, that is plenty heavy. We don't want to add any weight to it. We just want to make sure everything else in the set is similar. We'll write this down at D5, and now we can take the grip off and just get a swing weight measurement with just the shaft and the head. This is going to make it much heavier with the swing weight, but It's also much faster, so we can basically just go back and convert everything down to what the final results will be. So this essentially gets about 10 swing weight points heavier, so we'll call it E5 with no grip. Now we can just check the rest of them. Okay, here's all our numbers. We go E5 up to E7. Now what we do see here is the 6 iron's a little heavier versus the 5 or versus the 7, 8, and 9. And so what we're going to be doing here is we are just going to add a couple grams of weight to the 7, to the 8, and to the 9. And that is going to give us a nice progression of E5. Remember, convert that back down to D5. So we'll essentially be getting D5 in the long irons, D6 in the mid irons, and D7 in the short irons. And that is what we like to see. That is a nice weight progression, basically moving a couple points from the longest club to the shortest club. All right, we're going to mix up some epoxy. Got some shafting beads here. Rough up the inside of these ferrules. All right, starting with the 4. And a little epoxy on the ferrule, on the shaft, excuse me, to hold the ferrule. We'll slide that guy on, get it started up about that far, and just go back. Make sure the shaft just has a little layer of epoxy on it. Let's put it together. Tap it down. Make sure we get our logo pointed down. Clean up the excess, and we'll come back at the end and just touch everything up and make sure we don't have any epoxy drips or anything like that before we put it in the hot box. For right now, we're just going to set it right up here. Now this guy does get a little extra weight, so this is going to be one of the ones that gets an extra 2 grams in the tip weight. Epoxy on the shaft, ferrule goes on, epoxy on the shaft also. We'll just put a little bit across the top just to go down inside there with that tip weight. Just make everything nice and snug. We'll just drop this guy in there like that. And then just put it together. In this case, we're going to put it together with the shaft pointing down and the head pointing up so that that tip weight doesn't go sliding somewhere while we're trying to put it together. Now we can bring it up, rotate a few times, give it a tap down, get that shaft where we want it, Just like that. And give it a quick wipe. All right, next up, the epoxy is dry, so we're going to start by turning down these ferrules. As you can see, they are pretty close, but they are sticking out past the edge of the hosel a little bit, so we're going to turn these down. Remember, when we're using a felt belt like this on our belt sander, we just want to make sure we keep everything moving the entire time. Okay, we've sanded down or turned down the ferrules using the linen belt. I have not done the final polishing of them with the acetone because we're going to be bending all these clubs 1 degree upright, and anytime you start bending things with a bending bar, you can accidentally knock into the ferrule and scuff it or scratch it. So better to leave the finishing to the very end after we've bent everything. We're going to bend all these 1 degree upright. We're going to check the lofts also. And we've got tape all over the heads just because they are brand new and we don't want to mess anything up. I'm just going to push the tape all the way down so that I can still see the grooves, and that'll help me line it up in the loft lie machine. We've also got our little brass pads here that we're going to make sure we use so we don't damage the head in any way. Okay, last thing to do is put some grips on. We're going to be adding a few extra layers of tape because we're trying to build up these mid-size to jumbo. So once we get to our last layer of tape, we go to double-sided tape as opposed to just masking tape for the buildup. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please go down below, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that little bell icon so you'll be alerted when I post new videos. Make sure you check out my other channel, Elite Fit Golf, where I do golf club fitting and golf equipment reviews. You can follow me on Instagram at Mobile Club Maker. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.